All right, episode 6. Here we are.
You know, it's been at least 24 hours since I've heard your voice on a microphone. And
Has it? No, it hasn't. Well, that's because you just listen all day. Does your wife catch you listening to our episodes all day long?
No.
Well, we got a great neighbor stopping by today, so let's get into it right now.
Welcome to Neighbors Don't Knock, the show that brings you hilarious, unapologetic conversations only these neighbors can have. Join them and guests in their weekly mission to expand the neighborhood. Now, here's your hosts, Brian Chambers and Philip Goffrey.
Hello. What's up, all you loyal neighbors out there, near and far?
Hey.
Local? Yes. Is that how we say it?
Was it Heidi?
No, that was our camera.
Camera Heidi.
But you were saying
Hi, Heidi.
you were saying the hey, like we did when the Tim Cook impression. It's like
one more
thing. Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to do it. He really needs to do it. I think it'd be fantastic.
Tim, if you're out there listening, please
Bud,
take
bring
that
it back.
suggestion.
Just kind of like
I will spend more money at
sliding
Apple.
across the stage.
I will spend more money at Apple if I watch him do that. I will rush. I don't care. I'll get one of those little. I'll spend $100 on one of those little mini pods.
I'm pretty sure you spend all of your expendable money at Apple, as is actually.
That's not true. I have a cap limit of where I'm allowed to spend at places. I mean, I have my stores and places that I love. Do you have specific places that you know?
No. I loathe shopping with the passion of 10,000 fiery suns. I can't stand it.
That's not true. You shop for our podcast.
That's not shopping. That's necessity.
Sure.
Yeah.
if that's how you're going to spin
There's
it.
a big difference. Right?
All right.
When you're looking for a new television, that's because the picture has to be upgraded. There's no.
Yeah.
This is not
Are you listening to yourself? It has to be upgraded.
Of course I am. I'm rehearsing.
I'll tell you what, we have enough.
Cheery.
We have enough because we have a great neighbor stopping by, local here. I was introduced to this neighbor in a way I never thought I was going to be, and I'll get into that in a second. But this neighbor is considered one of Houston's top dog trainers and behavioral experts, as well as one of the city's most innovative dog education and enrichment entrepreneurs, helping to create a balance between mind, body, and spirit. She's recognized as Houston's original puppy expert and is the founder of the city's first all-encompassing puppy-focused training program. I know, right? Pretty impressive. She regularly contributes her expertise to media outlets and television segments, including Houston Life, where she became the resident puppy whisperer. All right, I put that out there. After training KPRC's station dog, Tex, she frequently writes for Houston Pet Talk magazine and has terrific opportunities to work with and train dogs for the Alley Theater, the Astros, the Houston Ballet, and Texas Children's Hospital. So, yeah, it's fantastic. So let's get her on the show. We'd like to welcome Stephanie Bennett. Hello.
Hello there. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on.
Welcome.
This is great.
Nice.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Yes. Yes. Figure I get a little bit more, a little hoot and hollering. So, everyone would ask, do you have a pet? I know is that the first question they always ask you? Do you have pets at home? And I know the answer to this only because I've witnessed
my pets.
Your pets. Because if you haven't guessed, I met Stephanie through Believe in Dog Training, which is a fabulous training facility for puppies and program.
Thank you.
And we've loved it. And I've never had so much fun training my dog. I always did self-training and stuff because we have rescues. We always do rescues. And I wasn't expecting to end up with a puppy. It's been a long time since I've had a puppy. And wow, all the memories come flooding back. And
it's a bit different, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like, that's why I said no more puppies. But it was so adorable.
Yeah.
She just locked eyes with me at 2 months at the rescue. It was a place, and a shout out to Camo Rescue. So what's up, guys? Where we got both of our dogs recently. So our dog Avery, my little dog Avery, is loving being over there. So,
But I imagine the problem with having a puppy and not being used to it is you say something like sit, and it's like, no, not shit, sit. Ugh.
I knew
I need help.
I knew that's where you were going to go with that. I mean, it is. It becomes you have to really want to do it. And my first dog, I was a little unprepared to have a dog. Now, it was a great dog. But I let me ask you this: do you have a lot of people that come to you that are younger that you recommend not having pets?
Well, by the time they get to me, I probably don't recommend them not having, but there are times when we have to have a serious kind of come to Jesus meeting and go, this might not be the situation or the thing for you or the dog for you, or, let's help you figure something else out.
And then that being said, do you find yourself helping with more placements or taking in more dogs?
No, not really. I mean, I do work really closely with several rescues in town so that if somebody does have to rehome, then I can go to those people and they can help me market them and vet them and do those kinds of things. So at least I have that so I can help people if necessary. But that isn't usually, obviously we're trying to help them stay in the house, is what we're really trying to do.
Okay, so I want to know, let's back up. And how did you get into this? Like, what was where did you find yourself leading? Like, all of a sudden you're like, that's what I'm going to do. Because it's got to be a calling.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just now becoming, maybe it's been a few years that it's becoming this kind of trendy kind of profession where now there's tons of people going, oh, I'm a professional dog trainer.
But you've been doing this a long time, though.
Yeah, so over 15 years. So I lived in Los Angeles, and so I'm from West Texas. You mentioned Lubbock before. I don't know.
That's where I went to college. I'm a Red Raider graduate, but I was born in California, actually.
Oh, incredible!
So, yeah, Valencia.
So I went to high school in Lubbock, and then
okay.
Yeah, and then I went to college in San Marcos, and then I immediately moved to New York City for 2 years, and then I moved to California for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So I did a whole bunch of things when I was in California, as one does. And one of the things that I did is I worked in the independent film world. And one of the very last movies that I helped with was a movie called Stay that was written and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. And in that movie, they had several dogs. And I was an associate producer, which means do everything. And I ended up working with the dogs.
Actually,
it's a really good title for a
That's actually
gopher.
accurate.
Yeah, indeed. And I worked with a lot of the dogs just because of my love for dogs. And so I ended up doing that, which I thought, well, this is kind of cool. I'm working with dogs, And that back then, 15 years ago, it wasn't like, it was, Cesar Millan was brand new 15 years ago. So that was just the first kind of thing where everybody was like, oh, look at that. That was a new thing. And then just kind of personal things. My father passed away. He was in Texas. And I decided that I wanted to do something different with my life. And so I literally went, if I could do anything, what is it that I would do? And I thought, wow, that's a thing. Like, you can train dogs. It's a thing. And there's a school that you can go to. So I literally quit everything that I was doing in California, quit it all. And I took out a student loan and I drove to the school, which was in Texas, actually, and went to school for 4 months. And then I went back to LA and I became a dog trainer. I started working immediately.
Fascinating. So did you go back to the film industry and sort of try to start with dogs in that realm, or just totally
No. I just
sever
totally
ties
went,
and
yeah, sever ties. But I think that all of that, all the experience that I had in the film industry helped me later with all kinds of things.
yeah, indeed.
Well, I was going to say, if you... Is there a continuing education for your degree specifically?
Yes.
Because you mentioned going, and you said the program was
It was in Texas.
It was in Texas.
So
Like, it was like a 2-year program, or like...
No, this was only a 4-month
Oh,
program.
4 months. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. You
So
said
it was
that. Okay.
4 months, and so we lived there, right? We lived there. It was 4 months, and so it was very, everybody's there, and you could get a dog from a rescue, so everybody starts green with a dog that doesn't know anything, which is great because they get those dogs from rescues, they teach you how to train them, and then those dogs are obviously very adoptable after that because they're highly trained.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
How many... I have to ask this, though. How many of you guys ended up with that dog?
I would say over 50%.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. I did for sure. Of course, he was my
I mean, just you're gonna spend
Of course.
that much time and that much effort. It's just like...
Indeed. Yeah, it'd be crazy
Heck
not
of a
to.
bond,
Like,
yeah.
all right, little buddy, see ya. It's like, no, come back.
Right.
And
and
I
what-
assume these were not puppies.
No, no. And one of the things that they told us was that, if you, make this your career and you work, then, you might want to keep this dog as your, what we would call a demo dog, because you probably aren't going to have this kind of time ever again to train a dog like this all day, every day. And that has absolutely been 100% true. So yes, I was there for 4 months, and then I went back to LA and I started working immediately, luckily. And then I went to a seminar where I met my mentor, and through that, through my certification, they don't really give you a degree, but and since I went there, they have developed certifications, because the unfortunate thing is that dog training is unregulated. So anybody can say they're a dog trainer. Literally, anybody can say anything they want. They can add letters and things and say whatever they want. So they have now tried to create specific certifications for certain kinds of dog training and all that kind of stuff.
What would you consider the most fun certification that you could get as a dog trainer?
I mean, I love the trick stuff. I guess it just is whatever you love. We do pet dog training, as you know, for pets. And so, the trick training and the specialty stuff that we do, it's all for fun for people who have pets and want to just have fun. The other side of it are the people who are really serious about competing with their dogs, or the dog sports.
That's kind of what I was going at. I mean, because my former dog, he was a rescue Husky Lab Shepherd, loved Frisbee, and he would, he could leap. I don't know if you've ever seen them on ESPN, or they have those dog competitions where
the dog divers.
Yes, the dog divers. He would love that. That he would do that into a pool. I mean, he would dunk his head in, and he loved swimming and Frisbee. And I was kind of sad that we always just did it for fun.
Yeah.
We just went to the park, did it for fun. I never got that serious into it. But is there levels that they actually hire you guys, people out, like that have your certifications for certain level of competitions? Are they is there a requirement that you have to have something like that?
So again, it's CCPDT, so it's the Council of Certification for Professional Dog Trainers. And so again, most of us are working with pet people.
Write that down.
My little fingers are
CPDT.
going
Yes,
right
yes.
now.
I mean, just
There's a
remember,
quiz later.
professional dog trainers. So, but no, most of us are working with pet dogs now, because it's really a whole different kind of a deal when you're working with sport dog stuff, right? The competitions of whether it be obedience competitions or agility competitions or the dog diving and stuff like that. So the people who do professional dog training stuff, they're very serious about the whole thing, and it's a little off-putting for people who are just like, I just want to do fun stuff,
I mean, have you had anybody in that realm that's come to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I was gonna say, it sounds like you're speaking from personal experience of working.
oh,
with
for
people.
sure, for sure.
It's like, I won't name names.
And
Steve.
and my clients will come and they're like, they were like really mean, and and they also will often use punishment stuff, which we don't do at all. And so I find them to be very intense, and maybe not like, as we are very much about fun and games and relationships and things like that. And, witnessing people getting mad at their dogs for not doing perfect and stuff like that's really, it's like, But there
It's a
are
bit disturbing.
Yes, and there's a lot of great people who do it. It's just not my thing. I would rather just be able to do it for fun, just to enrich the dogs.
Were you raised? Did you have pets in family growing up?
Indeed. Yeah, we had there was always, at family gatherings, more dogs than there were people.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I say, it sounds like you've been around. But let me ask you this, since you mentioned the positive reinforcement. Were you, as a kid, disciplined more? Was that your parents' style, just time frame
Not
wise?
really, but but as far as me being a child, but the dogs that we had, that was very old school. Like I remember the old school training that they, it
the
was
bad
still
dog, or
the bad
no?
dog, and even like spanking with a newspaper or rubbing their nose and pee or poop when they, that kind of stuff, or with the, my dad. I remember one time. It's so ridiculous stuff when you think about it. The dog was chewing on a branch, and so he tied a branch to his neck. As if, stuff like that. And you still hear those
wow.
kinds of old school things.
Yeah.
They hold on. They hold on.
We love our pets, and I want to thank you personally, because it's I've enjoyed having a puppy again, and my wife laughs at me because I now I'm matching. I'm like, I gotta get her the collar. Oh, we gotta get her the snuffle mat. Oh, we gotta get her these. And she's got more gadgets and toys. She's got more ways to eat. Our dogs now have more ways to eat their dinner than I do.
You're not gonna do the whole like Halloween dress up thing with them. Are
Oh
you?
yes,
Like,
I am.
Oh, it's too late.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
way too
I am,
late.
man.
Of course, we've already done that.
Yeah.
We're way past that.
oh goodness. Oh
Do
goodness.
you want to know? Okay, so if there was a friend or if you did a Halloween party this year, we would have cleared it with you, but we would have dressed up. I went to Disney. I got my lightsaber and stuff. My little dog would have been Darth Vader with the little, and the other one would have been our Shih Tzu would have been an Ewok.
Wow. They do make pills for what he has. He just refuses to take them. That's
okay.
fascinating.
That's okay. All right, back to our guest though. So when you obviously you have dogs, how many dogs do you have personally? I've witnessed 2, maybe. No, maybe.
Yeah.
One for sure I know of.
Right,
That's
right,
about
right,
it.
right. I have 3.
Oh, 3. Okay.
And I typically, I've had 3 forever. But sadly, I had 3 for a very long time, my 3 boys. And then within the past 2 years, they have passed. And now I have just slowly, again, I never ever go looking for them.
just come
The
to you.
universe just brings them to me. And so, when I had 2, I was like, well, I'm going to wait. And then the universe brought me the 3rd one. So, but I have 3. I had 3 that were my that I really learned from. You learn something from all of the dogs. And then as they passed, then they were replaced by the universe, just kind of one at a time. So now I find myself with 3 small dogs. I never thought that was going to happen. 3 little dogs, and they're all quite young now still because of that.
And you never had a preference for breed or anything like that?
No, not at all. But because I just, the universe brings me what they bring me. But I did, my last dog that passed away was a pit bull that I found on the street.
Wow.
And Houston is so full. Houston is literally like the worst place in the world for homeless animals. There's they
terrible.
average like 2 million or something like that. And for whatever reason, irresponsible dog ownership, so many pit bull mixes and things like that. And then the universe, as you know, had completely different idea for me. And we had an owner surrender, and I ended up with a white, floofy Havanese mix.
I am so happy you just said the word floofy because my daughter, I have a 10-year-old, and she is desperate for a floofy dog, honey. If you're watching, I know.
If she's watching, there's a lot of things I shouldn't have said already.
Oh, she's used to it. Don't worry, Brian. You're in the clear. You're in the clear.
Oh, that's great. It's just Mr. Chambers dropping F-bombs.
I'd be lying if I said there has been multiple times I'd say, honey, ask me when you're older. But not about the dog, about our show.
Don't worry, Chloe.
Oh,
Yeah.
Another year, and you're going to learn so much more.
But she loves calling little dogs floofy,
Floofy,
so I'm
the
happy to hear
floofsies.
somebody else say
yeah.
floofy.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm now thinking of what we can teach her as we go through the. Oh, you
Darling,
don't.
Mr. Chambers can teach you nothing. We're moving on. But so the third dog, what is the third little dog?
So he's my newest one. He's a Havanese mix. And as Brian knows, this was a owner surrender.
Oh, I'm sorry. 'Cause 2 were lost in the past couple of years. I see.
Yes. And so this one is an owner surrender. So one of them is a little, very, very anxious little girl who came from a rescue, asked me to help socialize her at 5 weeks old because she'd been dropped on her head and had seizures and all kinds of stuff. And so I took her, and then I realized that very quickly she was not a normal girl. And so I thought I need to keep her because I'm not sure who else is going to be able to handle this. So anyway, I have her, who is some kind of a Chihuahua Schnauzer mix. And then I lost my Jack Russell, who came from my dog training school. He was my demo dog. And I went and tried to find, this is what I do it, right? I went to try to find a replacement. I found a rescue dog that looked very much like him. I did a DNA test. No Jack Russell at all. And not a demo dog by any stretch.
Just a free spirit.
I mean, he's like, I'm not working. I don't want to work. No, thank you. I mean, he just was not about that. And so I was like, oh, that's a bummer. And then the Havanese entered my life. And so now he is my new demo dog.
My personality, I probably would have wanted to be a lazy dog. Like if I were to choose to be a dog, I probably would want to be like, I'm just going to enjoy life. I was like, let me be a beach dog or something like that, or put me on a boat where I can, just see so many things. That's what I feel like. But
It's a shocking from the guy who puts a seat warmer on for his dog when it's in the passenger seat. That's
I'm just
very
saying.
surprising.
All right, well, what would your dog be? What would your dog personality be?
You ever see Lady and the Tramp?
Of course.
Tramp.
Tramp? Are you that? You're not that cunning though.
He cuts me deep. That was painful.
I feel like I'm gonna pay for that one later. I was like, and no, I'm not rolling a meatball to you on a plate.
Even Tramp settled down, buddy.
Just don't settle for me because our wives already think we left them for each other.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, indeed.
I know. Okay, so with all this going on, I got to ask you, do you have any time for a personal life?
Yeah, that's rough.
I mean, do you get I mean, it's like, or is it just dogs? I mean, do you find time to go out?
I try. So
Okay.
I don't know if you know this, but this part of this new business was when I moved to Houston about 13 years ago, I started another business and I had a business partner. And 6 years later into it, we had a business divorce. And it was super painful and horrible and all of the things that divorces are, although there was a business divorce. And it was this business that I started with all my blood, sweat, and tears, and it was a whole thing. And then to walk away from that was horrible and hard. But I did have the intention of starting something else, but it was, starting it over again. Although, luckily, I already had a reputation in Houston, so it wasn't that hard. But this time I actually, bought a building and,
I say
had to
starting
get
over, still starting over.
had a loan,
Yeah.
all the stuff. And so that made it even harder. So for the past 5 years, I've been doing that again. Although now this business has been going strong for 4 years now. So we're starting to kind of, and I have a really great team. So slowly getting people on the team and learning to delegate and things like that, I have more and more freedom. I have more freedom now than I ever have, probably, meaning to take time off. And I actually went on a random little vacation last week and things like that. So yes, I do try to, and I want to be able to work with my own dogs, but I do have, I try to have more free time and spend time with the family and things like that.
So you're finding more time, which is great, and again, good for you. I think everyone needs it.
Oh, for sure.
It's hard.
Yeah. So, but no relationships or anything, just animals. Is that?
Oh no. So I do have a relationship.
Oh, see, all right. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, there we go.
Yes. So I do. Well, it's brand new actually in the end of December that I have a fiance.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
Did he have a dog come out with the ring?
No.
No, okay.
That would have been really great, but no.
Know your audience, man.
But I am the wedding would be, there should be a dog, but no. So, but we have been together for a while, for about 5 years. And so this is a new kind of development. But I don't have children on my own. My dogs have always been my children. But he has 3 children, although they're mostly grown now. But they have been in high school for the past 3 years. So they're now graduated and gone off to college. So
Wow.
yes, so there is a family-ish kind of a thing.
Yeah, there's a unit there.
Yes.
There you go.
So but I do have that, and so that is that's a real thing, right? Of trying to find balance because I've been accused more than once of being a workaholic. But the good news is I love my job. I love it, and I'm so proud of it, and I love it, and I love what I do, and I love going to work, and I think I'm really lucky that way. But I love it. I could stay all day there and not even think about it.
Oh,
So
fantastic. And
yeah.
clearly very, very good at it. I have a question about that, though. So you said you started the new business. We're going back how many years again for your current?
5 years.
5 years.
The building has been open for 4 years, but I actually started it 5 years because
Okay.
it took a long time to build out the building.
And you've been in Houston for about 13 total
yeah,
years.
mhm.
So becoming sort of the household name of pet dog trainers, at least in Inner Loop Houston, if not
Yeah.
Greater Houston,
Yeah.
did you have to do a lot of advertising, or was that all just word of mouth, people coming to you, hearing what you do? Like, how was it organic the way that grew? I'm very curious how you sort of become the superstar.
I guess little things happened where I was lucky. When I first came, I had some friends that introduced me to the editor of Houston Pet Talk. They introduced me to Dana Tyson, who is a DJ on Sunny.
Okay.
And she was able to do more of what she wanted at that time. And I met her, and she had me on in the morning. things for a little while. And I immediately started writing for Houston Pet Talk. And because I'd been in LA and I'd already learned about this kind of, networking kind of a thing, I showed up and I went immediately and tried to meet everybody that I could that was in any of the, dog training, dog daycare, anything like that, dog stores, all of that stuff. I introduced myself. I did all of that. And I immediately started my own business and I started teaching classes for people. But I will say I've never spent a lot of money on advertising. It really is just one client at a time, just word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth. And then, little things like writing for the magazine, and then being on the radio show, and then now, doing Houston Life and all that kind of stuff, of course, spreads the word.
That is 100% my most favorite way to hear about somebody who is talented and successful as you are, because
Takes months to get a client and seconds to lose them.
this is true. This is true. But just knowing that it grows organically, you have to have tremendous pride. I imagine you're very, very proud of what you've accomplished, for lack of a better term, just because that's wonderful. To know that people are talking about you and spreading the word, oh, you have to go to Stephanie, she's the best. That's so much better than saying, oh, I found your doggy daycare, your doggy training facility rather, in a newspaper clipping. And
yes.
Oh, you were the one that's closest to me.
And now, because I've been here for 13 years, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, it makes me feel really good because the puppies that I trained when I first got here are now, unfortunately, they're starting to pass. And then people get a new puppy, and now I see them again. They come and find me again.
That's very cool.
Which is like, oh, it's the best. So yeah, no, and I can't. Sometimes I'm like in my relationship, I'm like, well, how come you can't be as proud? Meaning, you should let me spend every second of the day over there, but yes, like I said, I'm so fortunate and lucky, and I never thought I'd move to Houston when I was living in LA. Houston was not on my radar as far as that goes, but Houston has been very kind to me in that way as an entrepreneur who showed up by myself and went, what can I do? Literally just on my own. So that is, Houston has been really great to me like that.
That's spectacular.
I think
that's
it's a great
city
story.
for it. I'm very, very proud of the
story
city
to hear,
for how
too.
much support you can get as an entrepreneur
for
and a
sure.
small business owner.
Now, are you forcing your fiance to partake in training classes or getting him engrossed in the business a little bit more? Is he in that realm at all? Like,
oh no, he's an attorney.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, completely.
Completely no. He's an attorney.
She only trains puppies. He was a full-grown dog when she found him. Yeah.
But it's the same, training children, training husbands, training dogs. It's all the same.
Oh
stuff.
no. She doesn't mean it, Misty. That's not how we do it.
It's all the same.
50% of our viewers are going, and they're like, hell no. You just split it right down the middle, right there.
Right.
Yeah. So how much of the is he being involved with stuff?
It was very a happy incident that he was. It's just a circumstance that he was an attorney when I had a business divorce. That came in very handy.
Is that how you guys met?
No. We had met. We had just had we were, that's kind of unfortunate. It was a brand new relationship, and then I started to live. So he helped me. That was really fortunate because I don't know how I would have done it without that.
Okay.
But no, he is not in that world. But he's been forced. He's just drowning in it now. But he because I have so many dogs, and the dog world that we live in, and he's learned a lot. But every time we've gotten a puppy, I have made him take a class. So, and he just hears me talking about it. And before the building was done, I ran the business out of the house, so he's been very accommodating and very nice through this very stressful time of building the business and getting it running and all that kind of stuff.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm always glad to hear that.
So I am super impressed that the ultimate vetting for anybody is to go through, meeting somebody, having a romance, and they've got children in high school.
Yes.
And if you all survive that, it's meant to be. So double congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Going to be, but in addition that he stuck with you while the new building was being built, that's fantastic. It must have been very, very stressful. But I am curious to go back a little bit in the timeline. I'm the timeline guy on the show. I can't help it. I know.
Sure.
I know. It's what I do. When you decided to come to Houston, you mentioned earlier that you had a mentor outside when you left school, went back to LA. And from your write-up that I've seen, that's Dr. Dunbar, is that correct?
That's right. Ian Dunbar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was he puppy-centric in all of his work as well? Is that how that evolved?
Yes, yeah. He in such the way that he started the first off-leash puppy class in the 80s, and kind of changed the dynamic of puppy training by doing it, so much. I mean, so much of what I've learned is from him. And so what happened is was traveling the world at that time a lot. He stopped doing that since, but he's traveling the world. And so when he was anywhere near where I was, I would go there, and then he took me on to help him. He always needed someone to drive him, and and things like that, and set things up for him and things. So he taught me an enormous amount, still does. But the best thing that he ever said to me was, "You should specialize in puppy." And at that point, I was like, no, I'm a very, serious behavior modification dog trainer. And why would I specialize in puppy? Smartest thing I've ever done. And then also, he said, you need to get off of the telephone. So those two things were the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten from him.
What do you mean by getting off the telephone?
Meaning that a lot of this is, so when people call and they don't quite know like what training program they're going to be in, or to find out about the training programs or stuff like that, I can sit on the phone forever and give all kinds of free advice and that kind of thing. So you need it's very, very important, he taught me this, to have a really good person on the phone, and it should not be me.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I never would have thought of that, but it makes perfect sense.
Yes, that's the most important person, really, at the business, right? The person that answers the phone.
It does make a lot of sense. I do that with swim clients too. Like they'll ask me, well, what do you think? Well, this is what I want to know, and I'm the same way. I could probably sit here and give you a 30 to 45-minute discussion on technique and training to this.
But then you're not working with your
swimmers,
right?
And then I'm not actually working with the swimmers, so that actually
split,
makes sense.
Right. And I can't say no, and, about delegating and things like that. But, specializing in puppy, I thought there was never a chance in the world when he said that I would be able to have 20 puppies a day, which is what we have now. I thought there is no way. I started out with like 5. On only Tuesdays. So that happened, and I was like, there's just no way. But now it's become a thing, and so meaning a puppy day school kind of a program, it's become a thing. And, when my clients move elsewhere or they refer someone, it's hard for me to find it. I mean, there are them, they do exist in the country, but they're hard to find. There's not that many people who do that, only that, and have a school that specializes in it. Now, because I've had staff that I have trained that have since left me in Houston, there are now like options. There's like 4 people trying to do that same thing.
Interesting.
Well, I always say, you can always learn from someone and try to do, but you'll never be that person. That's why people come back to you.
Yes.
And I think your staff is great. I love the staff over there. I think they're wonderful. But I have also witnessed working with you as well. So you can clearly see a distinctive difference. Not in a negative way, but you can clearly see that there's something about it. There's just a level that you can kind of notice right away.
Right.
So we're going back a little bit since Philip brought us back, listeners. I got to ask you, when you mentioned starting out with 5 puppies, right, and only on Tuesdays, to me, it was like, was there...
Stephanie? No, it's not Tuesday. Only on Tuesdays.
Only on Tuesdays.
That's true.
Was that like really hard for you? I mean, was that a struggle financially at that point? I mean, because you were starting from scratch, and just to say, well, I only had Tuesdays with 5 puppies.
So what happened is I came here and I just started on my own a private training company where I would come to your home and do private training with your pets. Then I met that was for 3 years, and I built up my reputation, meeting all the vets and all the people and all that. And then I met my business partner, my soon-to-be business partner. And the good news about her is that her mother had all the money to help us fund it. So that was one thing that was easy in the first business that I started, is that I had the experience, she had the cash. And so we started a daycare training business. So I was going to do classes and private lessons, but also a training-based daycare. And we were the only ones in Houston that were doing that at that time. And, because nobody does that kind of thing because it's not the cash cow, because boarding is the cash cow, grooming is the cash cow. And so along with the training-based daycare, I was going to start the puppy preschool program because, I knew we wanted to do puppies, but we just we were such a brand new business and all that stuff. I was like, okay, we'll just do it on Tuesdays. And I thought, the goal is someday we're going to have it every day or whatever. But so only on Tuesdays. And then, we started with 1 and then 2. And then for a while, while it was like 5 every Tuesday, and then it just literally just grew and grew and grew and grew.
Well, I mean, that's good to hear because I was picturing you like sitting around with 5 puppies eating ramen. You know, like
They're just all over.
Right, right, yeah.
It's like a scene from
I'm just
101
like-
Dalmatians. They're just
right.
It's
right.
just
falling over
It's
each
just
other.
us guys. It's you and me.
Right.
So, well, that I mean, that's good. That's good to hear. Well,
So you mentioned you're up to about 20 puppies now at a given time,
Yeah,
and you're working, including yourself, a staff of how many?
15.
15.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a
and is
large,
is your,
small business.
Yeah,
That-
Yes, yeah.
But is your staff referrals, or do you like how do you hire?
It's so hard. That's what, when if you're going to start a small business, the one thing that I didn't know was probably is the hardest and the most time consuming is staffing. You just spend so much time on that. And it's so hard. And as you know, our staffing requires a lot of training. I can't just hire anybody off the street. We train them. And so it's not easy. I can't just have like volunteers come because I got to train them a lot, especially to be able to teach classes or work with puppies or whatever. So a lot of them I mentor a lot. For some of the different schools. Now there's several, there's lots, and a lot of them are online. And so they look for professional dog trainers to mentor their students. So I always do that. I like doing it. I love doing it. And so, but I will find people that way. I will go and search now. I do go on Indeed and look to see who's hiring dog trainers because there's a lot of people now who've just kind of gone from one facility to another. It just
Sure.
becomes that way. But the good news is that some of my best staff have started out as clients.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I was
and-
about to say maybe there's a future for me if I give
Yeah.
up acting.
I mean, and they've stepped away from, Joanna, who is my operations manager, who is an angel sent from heaven above. She really can run the business now on her own. I mean, that's how I have freedom. I mean, she is a worker, and she was a mechanical engineer and decided, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. I think I'm going to be a dog trainer.
See, I got options. There
Yeah.
we go. My wife's listening. She's like, thank goodness.
You would, and you can do it part time. But yeah, that's
I may
it's
take
hard.
you up on it. I'm not. I'm gonna keep it in the back of my head. I'm having so much fun. We want to keep training.
It's fun.
It is.
yeah.
It is a ton of fun. I'm upset. Even Philip hears about it. I know you.
I do.
I know you hear about it all the time.
But I'm very, very geeky. So in fairness, I'm kind of fascinated with it because
Yeah.
for me, training dogs, it's so similar to what I see in trend lines in like human psychology, right? When you get really into the different dogs and their personalities, and you really have to become a psychological expert of dogs in this case.
100%.
And I find that fascinating. I think it's so cool.
And that's why it's a science, right? Because you're learning more and more about dogs. There's more and more tests and data that we learn about going through dogs and how they learn and all that kind of stuff. But also, there's a lot of Psych 101 with people. Right, because the thing is that all the dogs have a person, and so there's people come and they go, "I'm so great with dogs." And I'm like, "That's terrific." However, how are you with people? Because it's really what we're doing is we're training people to train dogs.
Are there things that frustrate you? Do you have pet peeves about dog owners that you see?
Yes.
What
It's-
are some of your biggest pet peeves?
People every day say, what's the hardest thing? Staffing is very difficult, all of that. However, it's training people is the hardest thing. Training people way harder to train than training dogs. It is. People stuck in old school ways is a problem that we hear constantly. The dominance kind of a thing. That's a big one that just will not let go. This idea that my dog wants to be the boss of me and I got to be the boss of them and I need to alpha roll them and things like that.
You're not
that
breaking the
makes me
horse.
cuckoo.
It's very strange.
Yeah, it makes me cuckoo when they've got these little tiny babies. I'm like, this dog does not want to be the boss of you. Okay, I promise. There is, and then a lot of times it is very much like marriage counseling. A lot of times where people are not on the same page, and I'll ask a question and the wife will say yes and the husband will say no at exactly the same time. And I'm like, okay, well, that's why we're here. That's cool. And then people who just that's why I don't do any, I've done it before in my life, board and train situations or anything like that. As you know, I need the people to be very involved. And so people who want to not be involved, who just want us to do it themselves, we just don't do that.
If you want to find out how the tips and tricks that Stephanie has for you, either how to train your dog and how to become, one with your pet or your best friend, then you need to go to believeindog.com. and sign up for classes and check it out. Because I will say this, it's a really welcoming environment when you walk in.
Nice,
So I
thank you.
wanted to compliment you on
Thank
that
you.
because we looked at several different places and we always feel very at home. It's a little kind of Zen garden, like as you walk in. It's really nice that, you know, all the staff has been very good. And of course, I'm like a child now. You know, I know that the toys and everything are for the dogs and there that, you know, when we just, but
Did you have to tell him?
but every time I walk in
Mr.
there,
Chambers, that's
For the dogs, actually.
you might want to wash your hands.
but sometimes they get like new toys or new like things, and so every time because they do it by seasons, like all of a sudden the Valentine's Day stuff came out and all this, you know, and I'm like, and then you have to look. I'm like, oh, Avery would love that, but it was like, you know.
Yes.
So anyway,
Can't take you anywhere.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's the best. I love that.
So I get suckered in, and Missy's like, because we literally when we leave, she's like, "Are we getting anything today?" I'm like,
You have to get Valentine's
you know,
things.
but we were just supposed to pick her up. We walk anyway.
So some of this stuff is actually offered up for the owners to buy and bring home with them?
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, yeah. I've got a retail store.
Oh, okay.
A boutique. Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's all training stuff, but it's enrichment and puzzles and toys and things like that. But we have grown into seasons and holidays and all of that. And
Oh, now I get
professional
it.
pictures.
There's photo shoots. I was about to say there's
Now
photo
I
shoots.
get it.
See now, that's not. That's what I'm saying. It's
This is making my Halloween costume question sound stupid, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's activities. We do activities with the puppies, you know, paw painting and, you know, all kinds of stuff like that.
I have a little
Puppy
koozie.
Pinot and Picasso. You know?
Hey, don't laugh. I have a little koozie with Amy's little paw in the back. It says Happy Father's Day.
I'm not laughing. I'm worried about you.
That's all right. That's all right. I go overboard with everything anyway,
No,
right?
I kid. I get it. I'm jealous.
People
I'm
love it.
jealous.
People love it.
We could. I'm sure there's a pup
Oh, I'm
for
sure.
you.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. But as we discussed earlier, it's got to be floofy and it's got to be a 10-year-old girl's choice. So
All right, there you go. Well, I'm sure we can
Easy.
make that
Oh,
happen.
easy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know.
It's so easy.
I will say this though. One thing that you know, we're jumping back to some pet peeves and stuff. I mean, when you're not at work and you kind of see, because I know I walk around here. I have people at Complex, people that don't pick up after their dogs, or they just, you know, little things like that. I just, for me, kind of drives you crazy. Do you ever find yourself just in your own environment outside of work becoming just one of those neighbors? Just, you know, it's like, excuse me, and then someone just, you know, because I feel like if they knew who you were, you would have great neighbors around you. Like you should make sure you put a sign out or something in your yard, and they're like, oh, we got to clean it up now. I mean, it's the dog lady's place.
Right. Well, I mean, I try, you know, I don't, outside of work, I try not to give everybody my opinion all the time. But yeah, it drives me crazy. I hate seeing people punishing their dogs. I see that often, yanking on their leashes and, you know, yelling at them, things like that. I'm just want to go, I could help you. You know, you don't have to do that, really. And as you know, one of the things that I really hate is on-leash greetings. Two dogs greeting each other and then going crazy and doing all the things. But you know, that being said, sometimes I'm like, I want to make sure that people don't know that I live here, because I allow my dogs to do things that maybe people would go, those dogs are crazy and misbehaving. Because as you know, for me, it's not a box like this is a dog, the dog box that they have to do this and they have to do that. This is your relationship, and you get to decide what you care about and what you don't. And for me, my dogs, you know, I live in the Heights where we have front yards, and they love going out and barking at people walking by. And that's kind of their job. That's kind of an instinctual thing that dogs like to do. I practice calling them back, but I don't worry about it so much. I really don't care. I see people punishing their dogs for that, which makes me insane. Getting very, very angry with their dogs for barking in the front yard at somebody walking by. That is kind of one of the reasons we have them, isn't it? So that they can say, hey, there's a bad guy around. So I let my dogs do stuff like that. That's my choice. I let my dogs jump on me. I will let them pull me on the leash sometimes. I let them bark at the fence, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, sometimes I'm like, maybe they shouldn't know that I'm here because
I guess if you want to be like a low profile, I guess
like,
that would make more
this
sense.
is the dog trainer's house. Look at those dogs
It's like-
losing their minds, you know?
No, that kills me too. The whole barking thing, because obviously you don't want to disturb neighbors. I understand
Sure.
that, but
Excessive barking.
yeah, but when you're asking something to change anywhere from 20 to 100,000 years of evolution, it's a bit like telling a tiger to lose its stripes, right? It doesn't make any sense that people do that. It's very
That's
weird.
terrific. I think that people just don't have that. I mean, they think they have an idea of what I call it the Disney idea, right? The Disney idea of what the puppy should be and what they want their dog to be. But I always say,
Tramp.
yeah. I call it doggy hobbies, right? Natural doggy hobbies are their instinctual behaviors, things that they love to do, just dogs love to do. And I think that it's a really dirty trick that we play on dogs where we bring them into our house and then they try to do natural doggy hobbies and we declare them a behavioral problem.
Neighbors Don't Knock is produced by C&G Communications. C&G specializes in small batch voiceover and video production for commercial media, podcasting, radio, and more.
Combining years of experience in podcasting, acting, and sales, C&G offers big media products at small business prices.
That's right. To learn more, visit their Facebook page or email them directly at admin@cngcommunications.com. So, again, if you guys are wanting to find out how to get a hold of Stephanie or get into her program, learn a little bit more, or just enjoy some fantastic videos on Instagram, you can go to believeindog.com. Also, in our episode description, we're going to have all of her information so you can find out if you have a puppy or know somebody and would like to find out more information. You can absolutely give them a call, and she will love to talk to you. I know because she was welcoming to us.
Yeah, we'll have links below for clickety-clickities, but I would like to say also, I welcome your comments. Anybody who has stories about things that they've seen that they want to share with us or share with Stephanie about owners behaving badly with their dogs, bring them on.
Actually,
I'd like to hear it.
Actually, I'd like to know what you guys think, what dog we should Philip's floofy dog should be. So send some pictures. We'll start weaving them out a little bit.
Yeah, but please, no like Japanese subways with the backpacks and the little head sticking up. That I can draw the line
Chinese
somewhere.
crested. No, crested?
Chinese
Crested,
crested,
yeah.
Yeah.
That will be your foofy dog.
No, we
Indeed.
got to get them a rescue. We'll find a floofy and rescue. Easy.
Oh boy, here we go.
There's
Here we go.
plenty of floofies.
Yeah,
in
you
there.
said
Floofy,
this
plenty.
one, the man has the Shih Tzu as a dog. Of course, you bring up the Chinese dogs. Yeah.
Well, that was my wife. Just loves that breed. But anyway, so thank you so much. But before we get out of here, we're gonna let you join becoming one of our favorite segments. It is time for Neighbor Tweets. Okay, so it is the part of the show where we get to scour the internet and find your lovely tweets that all you fantastic neighbors leave that are loving, hateful, angry, hilarious,
dear.
whatever you guys. We like to hear what's going on out there.
Yeah.
So,
By the way, we're discovering that most of these tweets to your neighbors are exactly how the whole Karen phenomenon came to be.
yeah, so all right. So the first tweet today comes from Uncle Sam at Uncle Sam Johnson. And he says, the at Neighbors app should really just be renamed, quote, I heard a loud noise and I'm sure it was gunfire, quote. What do you think? I mean, does Uncle Sam, does he have a point? Is it really, is the Neighbor app, is it really just like a crime watch?
I'll take a quick stab at this one because I do have all those apps. I do have the Nextdoor app, and we have a Facebook group for our neighborhood where we live here in Houston. And I will say about 40% of what I see posted up is, I just heard gunfire, when there's usually no gunfire. And then
Car backfire or something.
Yeah, and then often just people being way weirdly racist when they don't mean to be. It's like they're profiling people all the time. Like, I saw this guy. And
like
I don't wanna say
Facebook
anything,
kicked me off, so I have to do it
Suspicious.
here.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just say it's in my neighborhood. It's normally not somebody posting up about like the nicely dressed white man they say walking down the street, and it's very disturbing. So yeah, I'm kind of with old Uncle Sam.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that you're with old Uncle Sam in that sense.
Sam Johnson.
Yeah.
How about you? Are you on any of these apps?
Oh yeah,
Stephanie?
Nextdoor. We do Nextdoor.
Okay.
We actually get referred a lot on Nextdoor. Which
Oh,
is
so it's a
kinda great.
positive thing.
So there is a positive thing. People ask for dog training, and we do get referred on there a lot. However, I think it's drama too, and the biggest drama that cracks me up the most, and it happens a lot, and you probably see it on yours too, are people getting mad at other people for picking up their dog poop in a bag, tying the bag, and putting it in
Their trash can.
Their trash can.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I'm
It's a
like,
trash can that lives outside.
at least it's in a trash can.
Yeah.
You know,
Right, they picked it up.
now-
They put it in a bag.
Now there are people though, and we've witnessed actually other episodes in our show. We witnessed like cameras that catch people when they pick it up. They just put it on top of the trash can.
Oh,
Now that drives me nuts. I'm
Yeah,
like,
a different
that's weird.
story. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm just
Such
like
a nice
really,
balmy August Houston day.
yeah.
You couldn't
Yeah.
just go 2 inches and then just toss it.
Yeah.
in.
that's
I
weird.
mean,
Yeah, no, that's
so-
gross
That's
opening.
weird.
That was going to leave this steaming pile of dog feces on top of this black can to bake in the sun.
Yeah.
People do misunderstand that though. And it's a funny thing because I actually couldn't help myself. Again, I'm geeky, so when these arguments pop up, I sometimes I have to contribute. And
Let it out. Let it out, Phil.
well, I looked up the Houston city law about that. And,
Oh, is that
and-
right?
Yeah. And guess what, everybody? If you live in the Houston area, I hate to break it to you, but when your can hits the curb, it is not your property. It's actually the property of the city of Houston.
Awesome.
And any civilian in Houston can use it for their dumping when it's on the curb. It becomes public city property.
Oh, wow. Isn't
So,
that interesting?
Yeah.
There you
So,
go.
if it's behind your house on your property line, it might be a little different if somebody's walking up with
yeah,
their dog
then I would
waste.
say give
Right.
somebody else a call
Yeah, yeah.
and not Ghostbusters.
Yeah, then Karen, you made your neighbor mad. So
exactly.
you should be figuring that one out,
Right.
I think, on your own accord.
All right. Well, that was good. That was a good take. All right. So our next tweet comes from Jacob at Bolt2Up.
Mm.
So anyway, so Jacob, interesting. All right. His
I'm
tweet.
picturing a scene from Pulp Fiction. This is weirding me out.
Yeah. His tweet says, someone opened my bedroom door in the dream and it scared me so much I woke up. When I fell back asleep, I had a dream I was trying to steal sodas from my neighbor's fridge because he had weird, rare flavors.
This is the most confusing thing I've ever heard. What?
I
don't
know.
know what you said.
Exactly. I was baffled myself when I read it. And
I just became Hank Hill. I'm like, oh, damn it, boy. Speak English. What?
to my understanding, that this tweet is he had a dream, and at some point in his dream, he went back to sleep and then stole sodas from his neighbor's fridge. Would you tell, if you had a dream similar to this, would you tell your neighbors that you had this type of dream?
I think if I had a dream similar to this, I'm telling a psychiatrist. I don't really know how to
Well,
respond to
or
this.
us on the show.
Or us on the show. Yeah. I think I would. I think I would fess up.
You would fess up?
I think so.
Okay. Would you fess up to something like
I
that?
don't think so.
No?
No?
Yeah,
I think I just like
internalized.
They already
pretend
think
it
I'm
didn't
weird. Why do I
exist.
need to give them more ammunition? Because I talk too much, I would probably fess up. Not in my plan would probably to say nothing, and then I would just talk to them,
right.
and it would come out. And now I'd just be like, you know what,
Jacob, I will say if you are listening to this show and you know that your tweet came up in the neighbors don't knock world, I used to sleepwalk really, really badly, especially when I was younger, when I was in my
Ooh.
Oh wow.
when I was a kid and through my teens, and it was bad. Like I would go down the street 3 o'clock in the morning as like an 8-year-old. Yeah, it was
Wow.
really crazy. Wake up in the middle of nowhere, and
That's how you can
often-
run the marathon next
Oh
year.
my
Yeah,
God.
indeed. There you go. I'll finally pull it off. I had to be asleep for it. One time I actually had gotten cereal and milk out, and I had poured the cereal in the bowl in my dream, and I was pouring the milk on top of it. And when I woke up, I realized that I actually had done all those things, except there was no bowl. So I just had a pile of cereal on the counter, and I was just dumping a gallon of milk. My mom,
Wow.
what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I guess I was hungry. It's,
Wow. That's amazing.
It's comedy.
indeed.
What are you doing? All right. Well, Jacob, I hope that your dreams are better. I don't know. Or you get that rare flavor of soda. I don't know what
Indeed.
constitutes.
Or that you get the help you need.
Exactly. I don't know what constitutes a rare flavor of soda, though.
That's a good question.
I don't know. I mean, I don't drink
Yeah.
a lot of soda anymore.
Yeah,
but I don't.
expired does not count as rare. Just throwing that out there.
Is Big Red still available? Is that still a soda that's available?
I think so. It's just rare
Is
to
it-
find people that like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a teacher. I think it was my second grade teacher. Drank Tab.
Mm.
Wow.
All the time.
Tab.
Like she had cases of it in the class, like in one of the closet classrooms.
Oh, there's that
So-
Hank Hill thing again. Yeah. Nice, refreshing glass of tab. Oh.
With that, another edition of Neighbor Tweets. All right. So if you guys do have some hilarious, ridiculous, whatever tweets, send them our way. We'd love to see what your neighbors are doing.
Indeed.
And publicize that across all the social media. But
I mean, it's on Twitter. It's fair game.
Yeah, that's true. They put it out there.
Indeed.
They did put it out there. But again, we want to thank Stephanie for hanging out with us tonight. We had a blast. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Remember, if you guys are looking to get involved, you can go to the links in the episode description or go to believeindog.com and find out information. Do you have any big plans for anything coming up or anything that you want to share that you might intrigue some of our listeners?
Well, I don't think you guys did this, but we have in the fall, we had a fall festival. And so a lot of the dogs that had done a certain amount of training with us, we went and rented out a ranch an hour away, and we had a hike with 20 off-leash dogs and a hike, and then we went swimming. They went swimming in the Colorado River, and then we came back and we had a fall festival with like hay rides and food and activities for the dogs and off-leash play and all that kind of stuff. I love that stuff. It's so fun. It's it's a community builder for sure. And so we are going to have a spring festival as well. So the date has not been decided, but we will have that coming up. And so that's just a reason to go do some training because, it's more advanced people who get to take those kinds of
That's
fun
fantastic.
classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you do have a date, let us know. We'll be sure to put it up in our social media and add it to the episode description
Yeah,
links.
and I know by the time that this episode drops, Super Bowl will be over, but you don't do puppy bowls or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll do
so
that.
if you're watching this and be like, oh man, you got another year, so there you go. Get that.
Get planning now.
Yeah,
And
start
Puppy Day
planning now.
School, we'll do some. We'll draw some stuff and we'll do a puppy bowl for
Oh,
sure.
that's gonna be very cool.
Very fun.
All right. Well, you guys know that you can always get us every Friday. Philip, I think we are ready to get out of here.
I think so. Brian, it was good to see you, buddy. And Stephanie, thank you again so much for coming on the
you.
show.
It was
That
really
was
fun.
fantastic.
It was
Yeah,
really
it's
fun.
it's been
Thank you.
great. So, new episodes every Friday. You never know which neighbors are going to be stopping by. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast, or check us out on YouTube. We want to hear from you. You can go to podinbox.com/neighborsdon'tknock and leave a free audio message. It could end up on the show. Your advice.
It just might. Remember, we're about halfway through season 6. We are looking for sponsors for the end of season 6 and season 7. So reach out at admin@neighborsdon'tknock.com.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Out.